What is going on, everybody? What is going on? The Catch fam, my name is John Dawson. We are here for another night of fantasy Q&A for the most important week of fantasy football for a majority of you guys out there. Week 17 of the NFL season will kick off tomorrow. Cowboys and Titans on Thursday Night Football. Then we've got a Sunday slate of games. It's going to be a great weekend of football, and we got a lot to talk about. So, hope you guys are doing fantastic. Hope you guys are having a great Wednesday, and hope you guys are all ready for week 17 of the season. Hope you guys all made it to the championship in your respective fantasy leagues, and if not, we are here to help you guys fight for third place, fight for fifth place, fight for your consolation bracket, whatever it may be. We've got a week of fantasy football. For some of you guys, we still have some time to play through week 18, but for a majority of you guys, a couple days left. Fantasy football. So, y'all know what to do, man. Hop in the live chat. Let me know what you guys need. Start sits, ads, drops, roster confidence, roster non-confidence. How did the waiver wire go for you guys? Whatever it may be, whatever you may need, hop in the live chat. We're going to have some fun tonight. We're going to talk some fantasy football as always. So, smash that like button on the way in from you guys. Hit that subscribe button, of course, if you're new to the channel. And hop in the live chat. Let me know what's popping, guys. Like I said, any fantasy questions you guys got, any fantasy conversation you guys want to have, get it going in the chat. And let's get it. Let's have some fun tonight. Let's enjoy it while we can, because the season has flown by, and it is surely wrapping up. So, interesting day here in week 17 of the 2022 season. It just continues to be a crazy season. We got a lot of players popping up on the injury report. But Derek Carr was benched today by the Raiders. It's a messy situation, right? Like, essentially, if Derek Carr got injured this week or next week, his contract would be guaranteed, like in a nutshell, by the Raiders, right? I don't know. I really hate this decision. Carr's been awful this season. Like, I don't know. Carr's been awful, but Carr has not been good this year, you know. And Carr was very bad last week, right? 3 interceptions. But I don't know. 3,500 passing yards, 24 touchdowns, 14 picks, 102 rushing yards. I don't know. It's just a messy situation, right? Because really, it more so looks like the Raiders are just trying to save themselves. I just think it's a really, like, I get it. At the end of the day, the NFL is a business, right? But, like, I don't know. This one, I really feel like is a really bad look for a first-year head coach. I feel like this probably leads you to lose, like, the majority of your locker room. I really don't like this move by the Raiders. Don't exactly know, like, you know, who to point the finger at here. Like, I mean, a lot of people are, like, pretty much out on Josh McDaniels, but, like, I don't think this helped. But this could be a front office decision. I mean, it's hard to say, right? But overall, I hate this decision. And the Raiders weren't looking very juicy this weekend against the San Francisco 49ers from a fantasy perspective. Although I did like Davante Adams going into this matchup, who's in the must-start video. Now, I don't know if I really like Adams, but regardless, like, this really, I mean, the Raiders were looking, I mean, come on. They get the Niners this weekend. It wasn't looking very pretty anyways, but now it's not looking pretty at all. And now, like, it's really early to talk, like, off-season, but Josh Jacobs in a contract year had a monster season, you know, leads the league in rushing yards, 11 touchdowns, 369 receiving yards, your RB3 in fantasy, because every front office cares about fantasy numbers when they look at contracts. Davante Adams just joined this team, you know? I don't know. It's a weird look. Part of the reason Adams is on this team is because Derek Carr is a quarterback, you know, and they're boys. But Carr is stepping away from the Raiders organization, and he's not going to play at all for the rest of the season. According to Josh McDaniels and company, Derek Carr took this pretty well. Other reports are indicating that Derek Carr is not happy about this whatsoever. I don't really blame him, And the weirdest thing to me, listen, it's very, very, very slim scenario, right? But the Raiders still could have made the playoffs this year. Extremely, literally. This is what... Let's see. Because the Dolphins and Jets and the Patriots lost last week, the Raiders were still in the playoff hunt. Let's see. Yeah, as long as they won... No, it's not true. They needed New England to lose. They needed the Jets to lose. They needed Pittsburgh to lose or Miami to get a W. No, I'm so wrong. I'm sorry. I'm looking at the wrong thing here. Anyways, erase that from your mind. The Raiders needed to win. They needed a Miami win and a Jets win. No. Okay, this is so confusing the way it's showing me this. This is just the limit. That would be their elimination. So they needed the opposite. The Raiders needed to win. They needed Miami to lose and the Jets to lose. That's right. So, that's not that crazy. Sorry, I completely butchered that. The way I'm reading this is weird. So, yeah, if the Raiders won this weekend, Miami lost, and the Jets lost, they'd still be in the playoff hunt, And, they'd be fighting for the final seed. It would have been an extremely slim chance, but I just feel like I feel like you have to fight for that, right? I don't know. I don't like this move at all. I really don't. With that being said, I did not like Josh Jacobs going into the weekend. I like him probably less, but you could argue there's a world where the Raiders lean on Jacobs more in this game, but it's the Niners are literally the best run defense in the league, Listen, I don't have a problem with the Raiders parting ways with Derek Carr. I just don't like the way they did this. I feel like it's just gross. I don't know. I feel like they're going to lose a lot of that locker room from this. It's okay if you want to move on from Carr after this season. That's fine, But A, you're still in playoff contention. And the way they kind of made this look, they made it look like this was a result of Derek Carr's play against the Steelers last week, which was not good. But it's really just about his contract and the guaranteed money if he gets hurt during this season, And he still have a chance to make the playoffs, although it's a faint chance. The NFL's a really weird place. I don't know, man. I don't know. All right. We don't need to talk about it anymore. Let me know what you guys think. Kenneth Walker did not practice on Wednesday. Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton are both limited. They'll probably be good to go. Dobbins and Gus Edwards are good to go. Ramondre Stevenson limited in Wednesday's practice. Tony Pollard listed as questionable. Keep a close eye on that. Derrick Henry is doubtful for tomorrow. That's a big one. We already knew that, but that's a big one, right? Lave limited in practice. A.J. Brown limited in practice. I think they'll both be more than okay. Maybe Olave a little bit sketchy, though. Tyler Lockett, full participant. That is good news if you don't Lockett and you don't want him. You want pop, drop, and Lockett in your lineup. Kamara had a personal absence from Wednesday's practice. That's interesting. That's about it. Yeah, that's about it. Jared Stidham will be the starter. The Raiders. Irv Smith is coming back from IR for the Vikings. That's interesting. Antonio Gibson did not practice. Teddy Bridgewater is going to start. All right, we know all this. All right, I want to talk about the Raiders stuff. So, anyways, I'm going to hop in the live chat. Not going to waste your guys' time, so let's get into it, man. Appreciate you guys being here, man. Hit that like button for me on the way in, guys. All right, Albert in the house. What's good, bro? J-Dubs, hello, hello. J-Dubs in that Catch Fam Auction League Championship. Let's go. Brent, what's up, man? Made it to the championship. Let's go, let's go. Akers, Algier, Dylan, or Pacheco. Pick 2. I love all these guys this week. I really do. But I go... Ooh, it's so close. I'd probably go Akers and Algier, but I feel like if you want to go Dylan over one of those two, that's completely fine. But, I mean, I like Pacheco a lot. I just feel like his ceiling's a little bit capped in comparison to the rest of the guys. So, I really think Dylan, Algier, and Akers are all great starts. They're all in the must-start video for the running back position. So, trust your gut. Bench the one you like the least. But I think they all have good games, man. Stober, Schultz, or Ingram? Ingram. But Schultz is fine. Both in the must-start video. Love both of them this week. We'll have to keep an eye on Pollard. I'm not sure, Albert. There's a chance, like, if, you know, I mean, they can get by with just Zeke if they feel like they need to rest Pollard. So there's a chance he rests. Brent, I got Adams and Henry. Got me to the ship. Now it's RIP. I got. It happens a lot for the Raiders. Happens a lot in fantasy. Like, guys get you to the championship. Guys get you to the playoffs. They have a really bad playoff stretch. Or unfortunate circumstances happen. C-Dog, pick one. Moss, DPJ, Drake London, or Haskins. Yeah, I'm not rolling out the RB2 on the Titans against the Cowboys defense on a short week. I'm not. Hoping for garbage time points, right? I mean, there's probably some value in picking them up, but I'm not gonna trust it in the fantasy championship, right? I go Drake London. DPJ's okay too, but I think Drake London has a good week against the Cardinals, so I'll go with London. You see Devontae Adams' comments on the car benching? I did see. Yeah. Yeah, if anyone is not happy about it, it's probably Devontae Adams, right? Nick, I lost. I got beat by J-Dubs. Didn't even make it to the semifinals. But in one league, I am. But playoffs are going through week 18, so we'll see what happens. I need... Justin Herbert to not suck and Jalen Hurts to be healthy. All right. Would you go with Jawan Johnson or Higbee? If not, would you suggest for me to get Taysom Hill and drop Higbee instead in a standard league? Really close. Really close between these three tight ends. But I like Higbee the best. You know, Taysom Hill's been very good in standard scoring formats. He's like tight end 3 in standard. He gets the Eagle. It's a must-win game. You know, so I could see Jawan Johnson or Taysom Hill having a good game. But I really like Higbee this week. So, but I don't know. In standard, let's take a look here. I might not go with Higbee. I mean, it's tough to read because he had 21 points last week, 8 points the week before. You know. So I still think Higbee is a good start. But, yeah, Taysom Hill, you're tight end 3 in standard. He's had 10 or more points in his last 3 weeks in standard scoring. If the weather is bad, I mean, it's at Philly. I think if anything, it'll just be cold. You might want to consider Hill here. Jawan Johnson had a bad week last week. Didn't really play in weeks 12 and 13, you know. He's such a tough read because I liked him last week. He didn't do anything. Only one catch. Yeah, pay attention to the weather, but I might go Hill or Higbee, but I wouldn't be surprised if Johnson pops. Tight ends this year, man. Jeez. My opponent has both Evan Engram and Greg Dulcich. They're starting Engram as of now because he plays against Houston. I do think Engram's a better start out of the two for your buddy. Fortunately, it's against you. What's up, Prey? Good to see you, bro. I split with them in the regular season, but Engram really went off in the second matchup that hurt me in that matchup in the championship semifinals. It's a tough call. I officially hate the tight end position. But all those guys worth considering. In standard, I might go for Taysom Hill, though. We starting T-Law or Purdy? I think Lawrence is going to be fine. You know, he's been banged up with the foot injury and everything, but he's also been playing. Okay, so Let me try to look up this because I want to settle this for myself. Jaguars playoff scenarios. What scenarios get the Jaguars in? Okay, so yeah, obviously if they win this week and next week, they're in. Duh. If they lose or tie this week and win next week, they're in. We knew that. But yeah. So here's the thing. The Jaguars do want to win this game. Okay? It's not nearly as much of an easy route. But if they win this week and they lose next week, they can get the number 7 seed. But they would need the Dolphins and the Jets to lose this week, or the Dolphins and the Patriots to lose next week, or the Steelers to lose once, which is pretty doable. And then they would still want to see, like, it's really complicated, but teams like the Seahawks, Jets, Patriots, Ravens, Bills, or Browns losing would help them too. But ultimately, the Jaguars want to win this week. So, I mean, I've heard some buzz about, like, the Jaguars aren't going to, like, maybe play some of their starters, or the Jaguars aren't going to, like, go hard or whatever, because all they need to do is win next week. But that's not true. With the Titans, it is true. All the Titans need to do is win next week. They don't have to win this week. But the Jaguars are a different story. So, to answer your question, as long as as long as Trevor Lawrence is good to go, I start Trevor Lawrence. You think Rachaad White or Singletary are worth playing? Yeah, I think Rachaad White is definitely worth playing. And probably Singletary as well, because that game is going to be competitive. But I do feel like the game script for the Bills-Bengals won't be as favorable for the running back position, because there'll be a lot of throwing the football. But Rachaad White, just a safe, like, 10 to 15 point play against Carolina. Good competitive matchup here. Both these teams need to win in order to make the playoffs. So, you know, Fournette has still been heavily involved. But I think White's just fine. Yeah. Probably one of the best. Is that the best running back duo in the NFL from a fantasy perspective? What's up with Tua being out? He got concussed last week. Got concussed. And he played through the game, right? Yeah, wasn't showing any symptoms of a concussion during or after the game. Reported symptoms on Monday. Was placed in the protocol. They found that he suffered a concussion on Sunday. Tua is probably not going to play the rest of the regular season. That's my call. If the Dolphins make the playoffs, there's a scenario he doesn't even play in the playoffs. You know, I mean, that's his third concussion of the year. So, it's not good. Ghost Hunter, are you starting Purdy or Mike White if he plays? Probably Mike White. I just feel like the Niners aren't going to have to throw the football as much. I still think Purdy's a safe start. But I don't know if the ceiling's that high, especially with the rushing attack. The Raiders are bad against the run. I don't know. I just think it's going to be an ugly game for the Raiders defense. So I just don't think they're going to have to throw the football as much. I feel like the Jets-Hawks game will be much more competitive. Do we go get Hassan Haskins or hope that Aaron Jones plays? I would hope that Aaron Jones plays personally. Ghost Hunter, are you starting McLaurin with Wentz as the starter? Also Monty Jones and B-Rob. I like B-Rob. I like Brian Robinson. Cleveland's very bad against the run. I like Brian Robinson. I think he's a solid start. I wouldn't be too worried about Scary Terry, but his ceiling is definitely lowered. Albert, for sure. But like the first 3 games of the season, 13, 12, and 16 are your stat lines for Terry. So Carson played those first 6 games. So bad performance against Dallas, bad performance against Chicago for McLaurin, 4 performances or 12 or more fantasy points with Carson as a starter. So ceiling's not very high, but full PPR, still a decent play. Bobby King, Gino or Mike White? I think I'd rather start Mike White. Tough matchup for Gino this week, and his production's been a little bit down as of late. A little bit worried about him this week. You know, if you had to start him, I think it's okay, but I like Mike White a little bit more. Kells, could you believe on the championship that Jared Goff is my QB1? No, I totally believe it. You know, for quite a few years in fantasy, that was kind of part of my strategy, was always like I'm not drafting a quarterback. Like, I'm just going to find, you know, a top 10 guy throughout the year. Jared Goff, Geno Smith, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields. Like, you look at this season, there's been guys that have really emerged. So I'm not surprised at all. But I will say the point differential between like the top 4 quarterbacks and the rest is very, very, very drastic. So I don't necessarily recommend doing that strategy, but you can definitely do it. You know, Kirk Cousins probably got drafted, but he also got dropped at points in a lot of leagues. So, you know, quarterback position, you can definitely get by with a guy like Jared Goff. And, you know, I love Goff this weekend against the Bears in a must-win game. What's up, Richie? Richie, Gabe Davis or McLaurin? McLaurin for a 4, Gabe Davis for a lot more risk, but a lot more upside. I'm good with Cole Kmet this week, Kels, if that's who you have to start, but the ceiling's been a lot lower as of late. Richie, Ramondre, Dotson, or Evans? I like Ramondre, actually. But Dotson brings the upside for sure. So if you want to risk it for the biscuit, throw Dotson in. He's been really good the last 3 weeks. But Ramondre's still solid. I think Evans could sneak in a good game here, too, with J.C. Horn out. But I'm not, I mean, like, when you have those 2 options, I'm not playing Evans with how bad he's been lately. Nick, I lost my semi by 10 points. So devastating. Swift and Chase sold me. You know, man. I do feel like I was thinking about the Catch Fam Auction League, for those of you guys who are in it. If DeAndre Swift had a good season, I feel like my team would have been so different. You know? I put a lot of, like, I wanted Eckler and Swift. Those were my 2 guys that I wanted at running back. I gave up, like, most of my draft just to get those guys. Swift really sold me. I even had Jamal Williams, like, the whole season. It just didn't matter. Yeah, Curtis Samuel as a play is definitely a move. J-Dubs with Wentz in the fold, as you're saying. I don't disagree. Minshew or Brady? Superflex. Yeah, you're definitely starting Burrow. You know, man, I would probably go Minshew if he's a starter. And, I mean, if he's not and you have to go Brady, like, it is what it is. But you look at Brady last week. Sorry, guys, I'm trying to do something on the side here. Against the Cardinals, a team that I would argue has a worse defense than the Panthers right now. I had a lot of faith in him. You know, must-win game for the Bucs, just like it is this week. And he did, like, next to nothing. I mean, I was so disappointed in Brady last week. I can't even describe it. I really believed in Brady. Like, as a... I mean, I, like, was on record saying, like, you know, play Brady the rest of the year. I think the Bucs are going to make a playoff run. I think Brady's going to be solid. You know, I go with Minshew. I'm out on Brady. But I still think the Bucs make the playoffs and everything. Fantasy-wise, yeah, I guess tight ends have been pretty good through the playoffs. But it's just such close calls on a weekly basis. It's so tough. Kel's, Kansas City or the Chargers defense? I'd probably play Kansas City. You know, I mean, I don't think that the Rams are going to put up 51 points again. But I just don't love this matchup. You know, I get that the Chargers had 20 points against the Colts. But, like, they're the Colts. And Baker's been playing okay, you know? Like, he's not playing Nick Foles level, so I go Kansas City. Quinn, Rashad White or Algier is my first question. I go Algier. But White's fine. They're both going to have good weeks. Follow up, Fearmouth, Pickens, Komet. What two should I start in the championship? You probably go Pickens here. I want to go to the wide receiver position over the tight end position. Pickens did struggle last time he played the Ravens, but I think he'll be okay, right? Like Pickens, Pickett to Pickens. It's a thing. You got Pickett out there. They looked good together last week. 5 grabs for Pickens off 5 targets, 57 receiving yards, and they scored to win the game as well against the Raiders. I go Pickens here, and I like Fearmouth more than Komet, so I'd probably go Fearmouth. Henry being out, how are you feeling about Akers as a flex? Akers perfectly fine. Have Barkley and Walker. Yeah, James, I love Akers this week. He's fine. Mason Crosby or Carlson? I'll go Crosby. The Vikings give up a ton of points to the kicker position. Crosby had double digits last week. Hard to bench a guy like Carlson, but I'm really not bullish whatsoever on the Raiders this week. I mean, this could be a game where, like, anytime the Raiders get any momentum, they're probably not going to be able to punch it in. And probably going to turn to Carlson, but I just feel like Crosby's a better play. Albert, it comes down to the Week 18 matchup against the Titans for who makes the playoffs. Yes, but the Jaguars can make playoffs if they win this week and lose next week, technically. So, don't forget that. It's been the playoff scenarios are just crazy right now for most of these teams. They're all over the place. Godfather in the house. What's good, bro? Nick, what's up, man? Tua should retire. Oh, wait. We saw you earlier in the chat, but what's up? I wouldn't be upset if Tua retired. You know, concussions are awful, man. You know, J-Dubs, I kind of hope Lamar goes to another team. Carter Dolphins would be interesting. Tony, Cook, Sutton, or Curtis Samuel? Curtis Samuel. Sutton's a safe start, but no upside. I'll probably go Curtis Samuel. Minshew or Herbert? I'd probably stick with Herbert, but I'm really worried about him. If you wanted to go Minshew, if he's a starter, can't really blame you with the way Herbert's played the last 2 weeks. It's just tough. It's just tough. So, for the Chargers, obviously, I read something about their seeding. I think I read that also the Jets are like very likely to make the playoffs. But the Jets, sorry, I'm on a different tangent now. So the Jets, if they beat Seattle and Miami, or if the Patriots lose at least one game, they get in the playoffs. So their picture is pretty clear. But there's the Chargers could get better seeding and play not as competitive teams. They still want to win as many games as possible. So I don't know. I'm trying to look at game script here. Couldn't pull up exactly what I had read before. Kells championship lineup: Goff, Judy, Williams, Barkley, Ramondre, Komet, Fournette. Would you start Fournette, Dotson, or Dobbs in the flex? Ooh. Fournette's the safer play, but Dotson brings the upside. If Watson's out, Dobbs brings some upside too, but I still lean Fournette or Dotson. Fournette for a floor, Dotson for upside. Both are very good starts, though. You know, Richie, I don't disagree. I do think this could be a really good week for Gabe Davis, a competitive game script, a game where I think, the football will be thrown around quite a bit. So I don't disagree. If you're going to risk it with Gabe Davis, you might as well do it one last time in the fantasy championship, right? I mean, You did it all year. Why not do it one more time? Jade, I'm definitely going to leverage my mobile QBs next year. This taught me a good lesson for sure. I have Hurts, Herbert, and Minshew. What's up, GR? I'd start Minshew over Herbert if Hurts doesn't play. I'm okay with that. Are we starting Swift with Jamal out? Yeah. I like Swift this weekend. Against your Bears for sure, bro. Daniel, I got DK McLaurin. I'm about to sit both and play James and DJ Chark. I wouldn't sit DK. I wouldn't sit DK. I get it. It's a bad matchup against Sauce. I mean, shoot, man. I just don't know if I can bench a guy like DK Metcalf. And I know that Richie James had a, Richie James has been good. He's going to get the volume, and the Giants have to win this game. And I know the Colts didn't look great last week, but they have played well against opposing receivers. So just keep that in mind. So, like, on the season as a whole. It's tough. I mean, like, the safe plays, the guys who got you here are Metcalf and McLaurin. Kind of the upside plays are going to be Chark and James. That's so tough, Daniel. Chat, what do you think about that? DK Metcalf, Terry McLaurin, Richie James, DJ Chark, full PPR. Who do you guys like the most? Let's see. Dotson or Samuel for Mr. Jones? I go Dotson. Shay, what's going on? Shout out to you. A lot of questions. Let's get to it. Do I go Dak over Fields? I like both this week. I feel like the Bears game will be a little bit more competitive, so I might go Fields, but I really like Dak and Fields this week. Tennessee's given up a lot of fancy points to the quarterback position. I think both are very good starts. They're both in the must-start video. Fields a little bit riskier, a little bit more upside. Dak a little bit safer, a little bit less upside. Both are great starts, though. Dominic, Monty, or Algier? Algier, but close. Both are good starts. George played the Broncos defense and somehow made it to the finals because the Chargers stopped throwing to Keenan Allen in the fourth quarter. Yeah, Broncos D were a huge disappointment. Steve and I both liked them last week. Jason Myers or Gano? I go with Gano. George. I go with Gano. Let me go ahead and drop the must-start kicker video link in the description for you guys too, since that dropped today. That way you guys can, if you guys have any kicker questions as well, you can see what Steven has to say about it. Go drop him a comment. But of course, I'm happy to give you guys my thoughts too. I would go Fields over Herbert, Dominic. All right, let's see here. George Pickens or Mike Williams like 17 times. I'd probably go Mike Williams, Barnacle Boy. Bro, we got Barnacle Boy in the chat. That's from SpongeBob, right? All right, Chase, start 2, full PPR. 1 point per first down. Interesting. Kamara, Walker, White, Harris, Jamal. Kenneth Walker and Rashad White, but Kamara and Harris are very close there. Very close. I think I would have won my first week of the 2-week finals. I split the pot with the other person. He's a league manager and put up with so much BS running the league. I absolutely love my first year in fantasy football and we'll play in multiple next year. Yeah, man. Got to get 2 or 3 leagues going. Build yourself up. But I'm glad you had a good first year, man. And good for you for splitting the pot, bro. Schultz or Fryermuth? I go Pat Fryermuth, Mr. Jones. That's my guy. But Schultz is fine. Both are really good starts. Both are really good starts. Very, very safe starts. Schultz does have the better matchup on paper, but I see a more competitive matchup for the Steelers and Ravens. So. Pat Freiermuth been one of those guys that all season long I've just said to start him. I've just trusted him. So he's had some down weeks, but all tight ends do. Both are good starts, though. Mason Crosby or Gano. I still go Gano, but Crosby's fine. Since you said to start 2 Steelers, Pickens and Freiermuth, should I flex Rashad White over Pickens? I mean, if you do want to diversify, that's fine. But I think Pickens and Freiermuth are completely fine in full PPR. Daniel, I'm a huge Raiders fan, and wow. Yeah, pretty awful move, man. Pretty awful move. Sad for Carr, bro. Mike, 2 questions. Taysom or Hurst? I go Taysom. Be nice to see Hayden Hurst come back, from injury, though. Teddy B or Russell? Oh. Believe it or not, I think I go Russell. Oh, my gosh. Chat, who would you start? Russell Wilson against the Chiefs? Unit that allows a lot of fantasy points to the quarterback position. Gave up 26.5 fantasy points to Russell Wilson in Week 14. Or Teddy Bridgewater against the Patriots. Russell Wilson has 2 fantasy performances this season that were over 17 fantasy points. 26.5 in Week 14 against the Chiefs. 27.4 in Week 4 against the Raiders. I mean, Wilson's just playing for whatever pride he has left and for an interim head coach. I'd probably go Russell. Just pains me to say it. Yeah, I feel very bad for my dude, Tua. Daniel, I have seen some rumors about Brady potentially, rumors, him going to the Raiders, but we'll see. We'll see. It's definitely possible. You got McDaniels there. It's possible. Did you play Algier over Mike Williams in the flex? Full PPR, I'd probably stick with Mike Williams, but Algier's okay. Bro, you're so consistent with your videos as well as your advice. Also, the friendly and interactive nature of videos is legit. Time to get some merch. Keep it up and thank you. Hey, I appreciate that, bro. Yeah, I seriously, I really appreciate the kind words. It means a lot with all the work that goes into this. But one thing I didn't really do this year, there's a couple things I have already reflected on that I didn't do well enough at all as a content creator, and something that I can't be afraid to do. And one of the big things is advertising my own merch, which is funny because I'm actually wearing the Catch hoodie right now. But that's a huge thing, I should be out here every stream encouraging you guys to check out the merch. I should be next year, the Discord will be locked. Anyone who's already part of the Discord will be grandfathered in. But the Discord, you'll have to be a YouTube member to gain access to it. So you have to pay for it, basically. Just things like that, And one thing that I really didn't do well at all this year was, really get a little bit more creative in terms of ways to get you guys engaged with Underdog and get people to sign up using my promo code. These are all skills that I have to develop as a content creator if I want to do this full time. And I barely mentioned this year that we have merch. I didn't really find really good ways to get people to become channel members. I didn't really like get super creative with the Underdog stuff. Although in the preseason, like we did a lot of Underdog drafts, and that was really like in terms of Underdog promo signups, that was like our peak, you know, because we were doing Underdog drafts like once or twice a week. But yeah, there's definitely things. So next year, I'm gonna find some ways to get a little bit more creative with the merch, and hopefully, you know, you guys get a little bit more into the merch too, and I can find something that you guys enjoy as well, if that makes sense. So. FIFA Flow, Schultz or Higbee? I like both a lot, man. I'll go Schultz, though. I'll go Schultz. Ricky, what's up, man? Burrow, Stevenson, Algier, Higgins, Lamb, Kelsey, Godwin. Need to fill the last spot. Walker, McKinnon, Adams, or Hollywood. Wow. Man, did we count Devontae Adams out with Jared Stidham at quarterback? I feel like we have to. It's so gross. Probably McKinnon, bro. McKinnon or Walker. Walker does have a tough matchup, though. McKinnon or Walker. ETN played fine against the Jets last week, though. Chat, let me know, though, whether you own Devontae Adams or you don't own Devontae Adams. Are you comfortable starting him? You know, the Niners defense is good, but they're allowing like the 6th most fantasy points to opposing wide receivers. Believe it or not. Their secondary hasn't played great, so from a fantasy perspective. You start Adams this weekend with Jared Stidham at quarterback. Let's see. Mr. Jones says start your studs. Not against that. Need to Pickens, Singletary, DPJ, Haskins, and Slayton. Pickens and Slayton for me. But you could consider DPJ or Singletary here, Jackie. James, got to pick 2. Leaning towards Evans and McLaurin, but I also have Dotson, Zay Jones, and Ayuk. I like Dotson over Evans. Probably the best there. Dominic, Dicker the Kicker, Robbie Gold, or Money Mac. I do think Robbie Gold has a good opportunity this weekend. But I'd probably go Cameron Dicker. Let's see here. Purdy or Jones? Jones. I feel like Jones gives you more upside and a more competitive game script. I think Purdy could start hot, but I just don't know how much he's going to have to do in the second half. I'll go Danny Dimes. What do you think? Mr. Jones, pick 2, PPR, ETN, Dylan, Pacheco, Lenny, White. Flex 1 of these are Dotson. ETN, Lenny, and Dotson, or ETN, Dylan, and Lenny. Those are the guys I like the best. But I might throw Dotson in there for the upside. Could go ETN, Dylan, and Dotson. I'm probably setting Pacheco and White here, but you got lots of good options, you know? Thomas, what's good, bro? Appreciate you hanging out tonight. I want to sit Devontae Adams for Kenneth Walker. Tyler Algier. Is this crazy? It's not crazy at all. No. Not crazy at all. Especially Algier. I think he's going to have a good week. Smoke of the Cat. What's up, bro? Great to have you in the house. So, like, the site I've been using for my merch doesn't do hats, but I really want to do hats. So I might move to a different store after this season, Smokey. But yeah, I'd like to do hats for sure. J-Dubs, yes. We will be doing a Dynasty League. But I don't exactly know how I'm going to piece that together. Sorry, I'm reading all the deleted messages.
DeAndre Hopkins. Yeah, we're trying to, Riley, for sure. Trying to grow the brand for sure. You guys are great mods, by the way. You're not bad mods. Barnacle Boy, if you want to come back at a different time and not spam, we'd love to have you, bro. But whatever. My mods are beasts. Don't call them bad mods. That's mean. All right, let's move on. Hopefully Adams chokes. I'm playing against him. I wouldn't feel so bad if he was against me. Yeah. Space Ghost, 2 RBs, 2 receivers in the flex. Saquon, Algier, Akers, D-Hop, Waddle, Kirk, St. Brown. Space Ghost. Coast to coast. Saquon, Algier. I probably flex Akers. I go St. Brown and Waddle. Yeah. Like it's really tempting to go D-Hop here. But with Trace at quarterback, I just don't know, man. It's a great matchup, but I just don't know. You know what I'm saying? I just don't know, man. Patriots or Niners defense? You got to stick with the Niners. Niners are going to have a wild day. Patriots are going to have a good day, but you got to go Niners. Ricky, thank you for the info. New to the channel. Hey, welcome to the Catch fam, bro. Have McKinnon in right now. We need to see how Kenneth is. McKinnon torched Broncos last time. Walker is the war curse. Yeah. I think McKinnon's gonna do good, man. Should be another. I mean, like, the Broncos are awful, but they have a strange way of keeping things competitive. You know what I mean? So, let's see what happens. I think they could be a good play. Other slots are Goff, Kelsey, and Bucker. Yeah, you're good there, Space Ghost. EA, what's up, man? Playing a stack team with Chase Diggs and Smith. Full point PPR needs some upside. Is it a bad idea to send Mike Williams for Dobbs if Watson is out or Jahan Dotson? Other wide receivers, Godwin. I don't think it's crazy. I don't think it's necessarily a bad idea, but the problem is Mike Williams is still an upside play at the end of the day. You know, Mike Williams himself brings a lot of upside. Although lately he's been playing towards the floor. But, yeah, I think Mike Williams is okay to bench. But, like, you just have to understand if you do bench Mike Williams, don't be surprised if he does go off. You know what I'm saying? So. But, yeah, Dobbs against the Vikings, if Watson is out, certainly brings upside. And Dotson's brought a lot of upside as well. Oh, you're right, Ricky. I forgot that Colt McCoy's... Okay, you're right. Colt McCoy's probably going to be quarterback, but I did read... Okay, he's going to start as of 9 hours ago. But that's right. I read something today saying that there was a possibility that Trace McSorley plays. Just because... like, do the concussion. You know? But with that being said, you could go Hopkins if you wanted to. I just don't have a lot of faith in, the Cardinals right now. So, do we still have faith in Swift next year with the lack of red zone opportunities? Here's what I'm hoping for Swift. I'm hoping Swift falls to, like, rounds 3 or 4. Preferably rounds 4 to 4.5. And you can grab him as, like, an RB3. Depending on how you draft. Yes, I'm still... it's not that I don't even care about the lack of red zone opportunities. I care about how often he was on the field. I still think Swift has value next year for sure. But you gotta get him at the right price. Let's see here. Pick 2, Monty, Algier, Mike Williams. I'd go Algier and Mike Williams personally. So. I would trust John over me. He's the one with the channel. God probably makes a lot of really good calls, and like it's always nice to have your guys' perspective in the chat as well, even if it's different, because that's what it's all about, is getting you guys together as a community, and you guys giving your opinion, me giving my opinion, and us having differing opinions, you know? And sometimes I'm going to be right, sometimes you guys are going to be right, sometimes we're both going to be right, sometimes we're both going to be wrong. So I'm just glad you guys come out and give your guys' perspective in the chat as well. Yeah, I do agree. If Colt McCoy starts, which it looks like he is at the moment, D-Hop is a viable option for sure. I agree. I'd walk back on that one. So let me go up here. Space Ghost. I go Saquon, Algier, D-Hop, St. Brown, Akers. That's who I would roll with. You could go Waddle over Akers, though. Yeah, I do love Connor, though. James Conner is going to have a good week, Ricky. He's the man. Sorry. I just love James Conner like all off season, and I'm just happy he's doing well. But seriously, lately, like whoever James Conner plays, it hasn't mattered. He's been balling out. Start 2, Walker, Stevenson, Zeke, or Patterson. Stevenson. Second one's really tough between Walker and Zeke. You know, there is actually a chance that Pollard doesn't suit up, which is something to keep an eye on. Questionable at the moment, but either way, it doesn't really matter. Zeke's hit 13 or more fantasy points in every start since week 6. He's played Philly. Okay, that's legitimately the only good run defense he's played, but still. I still think he can start Zeke. I think they'll try and manage this game and get rid of some clock, so I could definitely see Zeke being heavily involved. Brock Purdy over Herbert. Dom, it's tough. I think Purdy's fine, and I think Herbert... Here's the thing. I think their floor is probably close. And I just don't know if... I don't know how much of a difference in ceiling they both have. You know? I might go Purdy. It's tough. Chad, who'd you guys go with? Purdy against the Raiders in a very non-competitive game script, or Herbie? Herbie fully loaded. He gets the Rams. All the JT owners in my other leagues are fading him next year if he falls the second round I'm in. Oh, for sure. I go JT in the second round all day long. Bad year for him. But, hey, it happens. What are you going to do? All right, so, by the way, guys, I'm just a little out of it tonight. I don't know why. So, my bad. I know it wasn't, incredibly enthusiastic tonight. But, it's still been a great stream. So, I know a couple of you guys have mentioned the Dynasty League in the off season. I'm trying to think of the best way to kind of form that. You know? Because I had to, 10 to 12 people, including myself, and I got to see if Steven wants to be in it. He probably will. I don't know. It's tough. What are your guys' thoughts on a potential Dynasty League? And what do you guys think is the fairest way for me to choose people? because some of you guys have played with longer than other you guys. Some of you guys have been part of the channel longer. And like for me to do a dynasty league, like I have to be able to trust you because it's something I want to run for like a really long time. You know? So yeah, J-Dubs, one of the off-season segments is going to be a weekly dynasty podcast, which is going to be called I Suck at Dynasty. Because I've never played Dynasty before. So, like, you know, I think this is going to be fun. Something fun to do in the off-season. Yeah, and like I think I might hand pick people for it. I know some people are going to be like kind of upset about that. But I think I'm just going to hand pick people and ask them if they're interested and just kind of go from there. If Lockett plays, I think he's okay, Dom. But he still gets the Jets secondary. So you're kind of asking yourself the question, like, do you want to risk it? Because I don't know if I'm as worried about the Jets secondary as I am the injury. Because it's still a hand injury. And he's still questionable. Still questionable, so keep an eye on it, but if Lockett plays, I do think he's someone you can consider in the flex, for sure. Ayuk over Lockett. I feel like Ayuk with Purdy, he's been okay. I'll put it this way. Ayuk, safer start, much less upside. Lockett a lot more riskier, far more upside. So, yeah, Godfather, I'm really excited. I suck at Dynasty. Here's what I wouldn't want to do is I wouldn't want to start like a Dynasty segment in the off season and just act like I know what I'm talking about. I don't. I'd rather just be like, put it out there. Like, yeah, I don't know what I'm doing, but I want to learn, and this is the best way for me to learn. So, might as well be honest. Mr. Jones, should I fire up the Jets defense this week? Last week they got me 2 points. No. There's probably better streaming options. Must-start defenses are out for the week. Steven has some good streaming options for you guys out there. There are probably better options out there. I wouldn't personally start them. I'll drop the link for must-start defenses for you guys. It's my new thing, is dropping you guys' links to other videos. Well, there's must-start defenses for you, bro. Yeah, I really want to not have people who quit J-Dubs, for sure. So, I'll start kind of piecing that together probably when the fantasy season ends and we're moving into the NFL playoffs. But, yeah. Seems that Hero RB was a winning format this year. You know, man, I don't know if there is such thing as a winning format. I mean, I don't disagree that there are a lot of good teams that went like Hero RB or even Zero RB, but like when it boils down to it, like it's all luck. Not all of it, but you know, you could have gone any strategy and just based on the opponents you faced this year when you faced them, you could have had any combination of players and won. Like I got handed a ton of bad luck in mine and Steven's personal league. And I should have made the playoffs. If I had made the playoffs, I'd be in the championship right now. I'm that guy that when I don't make the playoffs, I like look at my weekly score and compare it to the matchups I would have had in the playoffs. Yeah. You know, Devonta Smith had a fumble. What week was that? I don't know. I'm just going on a tangent now. Week 10 against Washington? Yeah. If Devonta Smith doesn't have that fumble, I win that week and I make the playoffs. If Kyler Murray doesn't get hurt in week 14, did he get hurt in week 14? Yeah. And he scores 10.5 points, I make the playoffs. Like, it's like, you know, fantasy's just weird, bro. But like, you know, you could have drafted Eckler in the first round or CMC and gotten Josh Jacobs in the 3rd or 4th round, and rolled with T. Higgins and Mike Williams or Jalen. I mean, there's just I don't disagree with what you're saying at all. Hero running back was a very good format this year, but I just think at the end of the day, I really feel like the best draft strategy is just to draft by talent. Like just go for the best available player. You want to have some sort of a format, but I don't know. My whole thing going in this season was build the best overall roster and then play the waivers. And the way I did that was going running back, receiver, or receiver and running back, and flipping, picking a QB when it felt right and picking a tight end when it felt right, and trying to find tight end gems. And our guys were Goddard and Hunter Henry. Henry did not work out. But we ended up with Pat Freiermuth and Zach Ertz in a lot of drafts. They had good years until Ertz was hurt. And then a lot of those mock drafts where I got guys like Jalen Hurts, my draft strategy was actually pretty decent this year. It's just you want to have some sort of structure, but I feel like there's just a lot of talk out there about 0 running back, 0 receiver, taking Josh Allen before anyone else does, taking Travis Kelce in the 1st round. Like, there's a lot of advantages to doing those things, but if the rest of your draft, even, like, honestly, the rest of your draft could suck, and it doesn't matter if you play the waivers correctly or if you trade correctly. It's just, man, as important as drafting is, it's really important to not overthink it, But I'm not, like, disagreeing with what you're saying at all. It's just, the more I look at this past season, I feel like going in next year, my strategy of just build the best possible roster within the draft with the information we have at draft time, and then just on a weekly basis play the waivers aggressively. And I think that I'll tell you the most important thing I learned this year, J-Dubs. Be patient with your players that you draft. I'll just leave it at that. Don't trade Josh Jacobs after 3 weeks. Don't be too quick to drop players. So, ZRB was strong, but as you saw with Jerry, let you down when the weather changed. That's a good point. Mr. Jones, thank you for the hard work. Of course, man. Stay consistent. You will blow up. Nice, cool space here you built. Thanks, bro. Glad to have you as part of the community, my guy. Appreciate the kind words, man. We'll keep grinding. Be fun to see. Really, my thing has always been a 5-year plan. Like, until I don't really want to reflect too much until year 5 has passed. So we'll see what happens there. Although I'm constantly criticizing and trying to get better and reflecting. My ultimate reflection for the channel will be after 5 years. Godfather, I've wanted to set up a Dynasty League for a few years, but it's hard to find the right people for it. I run a couple of my onlys, but Dynasty is just a different animal. Yeah, so there are some other channels out there like Fantasy Football Hustler. I talked to Dynasty Life Fantasy a little bit too. I know they both run Dynasty Leagues, so might get like some of their feedback or have them come on, the I Suck a Dynasty podcast, things like that, and kind of get their opinions and their thoughts. And, that would be kind of the nice thing is, by the way, Godfather, you'd definitely be invited. But I wouldn't mind doing it with people who don't know as much about it as well, because then you're kind of learning together. So I have heard some things and read some things about Sleeper having some issues in the long run with Dynasty Leagues. But I've still read that Sleeper is the best place to start a Dynasty Leagues. I don't know. JJ's top 3 next year, for sure. In one league, I was second high scorer all season, and last week my team put up 68 points. Yeah, like, that's the thing, man. That's the other thing that happens year after year. You can have a really good team beginning of the season, awful team the end of the season. You can have a really good team mid-season, and a really bad team in the beginning of the season, and a decent team in the playoffs. Like, it's, it's tough, man. And the NFL fluctuates so consistently. It's just tough to really really find the right momentum and hold on to it before it falls apart, Part of the fun. Thomas, one of our teams drafted 4 running backs out of his first 5 picks. Crazy. And, that used to be a strategy of mine. For a while, I just load up at running back. And I get like a lethal receiver in the mix. Like those first 5 picks, I probably would draft 4 running backs, a lethal receiver somewhere in there. Then in like the 6th round, I try to find a receiver that I really felt like was on the rise, like Devonta Smith this past year, for example. And then I would probably draft a tight end. Then I would just fill out at the best available receiver and running back. And I draft a quarterback super late. That was like my strategy for like years. And it usually worked. But as fantasy has changed, that doesn't work anymore. But it could work. You never know. As Godfather says, fantasy is a funny game. George, Mike Evans, Richie James, or Hodgins. I feel like Richie James gives you the most upside. But Hodgins and Evans are fine too. I mean, I feel like Evans is the player with the least upside, though. So it's tough because James and Hodgins don't have nearly as good of a matchup this week against the Colts as they had last week against the Vikings. So I just want to make sure we're kind of tampering expectations there. But if I had to pick one, I'd probably go with. It's tough because Hodgins had the better week last, and they've both been pretty good the last 4 weeks. That's super close, man. Hard to really make the call. Chat, who would you guys go with? Hodgins, James, or Evans? I feel like it's James or Hodgins for me, George. Who do you like the most right now? J-Dubs, Trey Lance or Purdy next year? I feel like it's too early to say. We probably want to... to give it a little bit more time to see how this postseason goes, See what happens. All right, let's see. Good rule of thumb, be patient with the guys you draft, for sure. Don't be like me. And I never trade. I never traded before this year. And that's one thing I'm really trying to get better at is trading. And I give good trade advice. Like, we make plenty of good calls. But just when it came to my teams this year, trading hurt me big time. I don't know. I made one really good trade. Javonte Williams for Drake London and Kareem Hunt. But, like, I don't know how good of a trade that really was. Javonte just got hurt literally the next week. But, like, in the long run, Drake London and Kareem Hunt weren't really starters for me. Mr. Jones, Hurts is my 71st pick this year. I mean, that's beautiful. Yeah, Hurts was a guy, like, as soon as the season ended, we were talking about Jalen Hurts being a guy we wanted to go out and grab. Like, a guy we wanted to target. I mean, we talked about that all offseason long. And as the offseason went on, the momentum for Hurts kind of kept rising and rising. Especially after they traded for A.J. Brown. Thomas, would you try and grab Kelsey and Andrews and use one for trade bait later down the road? Not with the way Andrews has been playing as of lately. I'd just go get Kelsey and I wouldn't waste the other draft pick. Lawrence or Kirk? I go Lawrence if he starts, which it looks like I think he'll play. Having Discord community leverage helps with finding like-minded folks for Dynasty, definitely. Yeah, another thing I really want to work on next year is being more active with the Discord, too. GR worked out with me because I had Diggs, Chase, picked up Watson, but I dipped Devonta Smith after week 1 and no points. Ooh. Devonta Smith was another guy I really loved all off season. But yeah. Jags or Patriots defense? Patriots. But both are good starts. But Patriots. Yeah, GR, I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to do the dynasty thing. Because I don't want to upset people, but it's obviously going to be pretty limited. You know? Fantasy gods are very important. They're not very nice. AJ Dillon for sure over Haskins. AJ Dillon for sure. George, always do running back round 1 and 2, receiver 3 and 4, then QB 5, then try and get a rookie RB or 2 middle rounds. Hopefully trade for receiver, tight end upgrade later. Sounds like a good formula to me. Hey, I like the Jags a lot, Cannon. Both are very good starts. Evans, I'm in between Evans and James. Evans had a good game at Carolina. James should get a ton of targets since the Colts have a 4th slot corner in. Evans just been so tough to start, man. I don't disagree that Evans could have a pretty good week, though. You know? I mean, he's only hit double digits once since week 12, twice since week 9 in full PPR. It does feel like the type of game where Evans shows up, but I kind of said that last week and it didn't happen. But I feel like I like James more personally. But it's a really close call, George. What's your ideal landing spot for Jackson? I don't think Jackson's going anywhere. You know, the more I've thought about this, I don't think he's going anywhere. I want him to, but I don't think he's going anywhere. I mean, I do have a Lamar Jackson Ravens jersey, so I guess I don't want him going anywhere. But I think they'll franchise tag him every year, no matter the cost, until he signs contract. So. I feel like Lamar needs big weapons to throw the ball to, not speedy guys because of his lack of accuracy. Yeah, I just don't know, like... I mean, the Dolphins make sense, J-Dubs, but... I mean, who else could realistically be in the mix? Falcons, Patriots, Saints, Colts, Panthers, Broncos. Just kidding. They're going to stick with Russ. Commanders, Texans. He's not going to Texans. Jets could be interesting. Rams if Stafford walks. I don't think Stafford's going to retire, though. I think he should, but I don't think he is. That's probably about it, right? I don't know if I get any of those teams. Tampa's my dark horse to get Lamar and bring Sean Payton back. I've read that the Sean Payton and Tampa thing is not, it's just buzz. That Dennis Allen will be there next year. Picked Herbert at 35, Hurts at 62. I'm so disappointed in Herbert this year. Just started listening for a month or so. Should I join now even though the season is over? Still going to pay off for off season. Thomas, the Discord's completely free right now. So, yeah. No reason to not join the Discord, my guy. So, you don't have to pay. Yeah. It won't, there's a Discord invite, by the way, in the chat for you guys. But, yeah. Not going to hurt you to join at all, man. So. I feel like the Discord is still, it's super active in the off season, although it's different like stuff on there. It's not fantasy talk, obviously, but we still have a good time on there in the off season. So, and this off season, And I think that's what you were asking. Let me know if I'm wrong, Thomas. But I have a little bit more planned for this off season as opposed to last off season, because last off season, I had a newborn baby. Now I have a bigger baby. So I'll have a little bit more time on my hands, in other words. So this off season will be very active, actually. And like Jacob's saying, we'll be mock drafting at least once a week. So we'll have plenty of fantasy conversation in the off season as well. Let's see. You said no to Jets defense. Top defense out there: Miami, Chargers, Washington, Cleveland. I'd probably go Washington. Must start defenses are out by Steven as well. If you want to drop him a comment and see what he has to say. All right, guys. I guess I'll start wrapping it up here. I once again got started later than I wanted to tonight. I was meant to take like a half-hour power nap, and I woke up from it, and I fell asleep for like another hour. It's what having a baby will do to you. But I gotta do a couple chores. I think I'm gonna make a video before tomorrow. I might just do it tomorrow night. I haven't decided. But yeah, I'm a little bit out of it tonight, so I apologize, guys. But I felt like we had a good stream. Lots of good fantasy questions, good conversation, some planning for the off season and stuff. So I appreciate you guys, man. Morgan, half point PPRs: A. Jones, Dotson, or Lazard? I go Dotson for sure. J-Dubs, the mock draft will be Friday night. Tomorrow's Thursday, so we'll stream with Steven tomorrow night. Ricky, pick one wide receiver, 2 in flex: Judy, Devonta, and Jacobs. I go Judy and Devonta Smith. Very worried about Jacobs this weekend. J-Dubs, can you believe I got Hurts and Herbert in a double quarterback league? A 10-man double quarterback league? You're good, J-Dubs. Yeah, we'll do a mock draft Friday night, which I'm looking forward to. Those have been fun. You guys have been enjoying them, so I'm looking forward to doing another one with you guys, for sure. For sure. You think Josh Allen will play Week 18? It just depends, Young Money, on what happens this week. Because they're still fighting for the #1 seed. That's what makes the end of the season more competitive now, is that there's only one bye week for the playoffs. So Bills are 12-3, Chiefs are 12-3, Bengals are 11-4. So if the Bills and or Chiefs lose this week and the Bengals win, they'd be tied. If the Bills win this week, and the Chiefs and Bengals lose, they'd be #1, but they could still drop to #2 next week. So they're probably going to play through the whole season. Unless the Chiefs... I don't know. If the Chiefs and Bengals lose this week, which I don't really see happening. I mean, it's a huge game between the Bills and Bengals this week for sure. So we'll have a better idea next week, but I would say they'll probably play. So Big Trev. Need to know, Thielen or DPJ this week? Full PPR, made it to the chip. Let's go. I go DPJ, but it's close. I go DPJ, though. We got you, Young Money. All right, guys, hit that like button on the way out. Check out the links down below. Follow us on Instagram. Join the Discord. Completely free to do so. And smash that like button. Hit that subscribe if you're new to the channel. Guys, we have must-start kickers and must-start defenses out by Steven. Must-start running backs, must-start wide receivers, must-start quarterbacks, and tight ends out for you guys, as well as the waiver wire video if you guys wanted to... see if anyone else is still out there on the waiver last second. So yeah, we got all of our content out for the week. And yeah, Tomorrow night, I'll be on at 7 p.m. Eastern Time with Steven. Give you guys an hour-long Thursday night fantasy Q&A. And that's going to do it for tonight. Thomas, join the Discord. Let's go. Let's get it, man. Yeah, Discord's fun. We do a lot on the Discord. So, obviously, you know, fantasy content, but you get direct links anytime we post a video or we go live. Mock draft invites when we do mock drafts. Announcements from me. NFL debate. Fantasy talk, of course. Underdog pick'em slips. Underdog fantasy chat. There's specific threads if you guys play in the Catch Fam leagues. Football card stuff. Food talk. Other sports, music, video games, movies. Whatever you guys want to talk about. So Discord's fun. It's I will say the Discord is a little bit more important during the mock draft season because I always would put the mock draft invites on there. But yeah, I'm glad you joined, Thomas. Godfather, peace out, broski. I'll talk to you soon, man. Zach Moss or Isaiah Pacheco? I definitely go Isaiah Pacheco. I like Pacheco way more. Definitely go Pacheco. All right, guys, that's going to do it for the stream tonight. I appreciate you guys hanging out tonight, man. I appreciate all the fantasy questions, and I appreciate each and every one of you guys, everything that you guys do for the channel. All of your guys' support. Love having you guys as a community. Love having you guys as members of the community. And I just appreciate you guys, man. So smash that like on the way out. And Steve and I will be on tomorrow night for some fantasy Q&A before kickoff. So talk to you guys tomorrow. Smash that like on the way out. Appreciate you guys hanging out tonight, man. So love you guys. Love this community. Love the Catch Fam. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Hit me up on Discord or Instagram if you guys need anything. And with that, I'll say thank you guys so much for watching and or listening. And remember, you saw it here on the Catch.